we get started with the program. So Raj Sen was born and raised in Kolkata, India. With a knack for fine arts, he joined the New York Film Academy, Los Angeles campus in the United States of America. Once he graduated college, Raj worked on a few short films, one of which, Forbidden Love, earned him numerous praise and accolades for his supporting act. Now, after returning to India, Raj divides his time between Kolkata and Mumbai. In Radiant Shadows is his debut book, a product of his own experiences living in Los Angeles and his love for action thrillers. While Raj acknowledges that true justice is a tad bit lacking in our world, he hopes that there are more people around who always go that extra distance for justice, like his protagonist, Detective Aniruddha Rai. So, and I'll also read the little intro of the book. Yeah. 7 dead scientists, Los Angeles, Wesner Chemicals, a baffled LAPD. For Detective Aniruddha Ray, a war-hardened veteran, this isn't just another case. It's a descent into California's darkest corners, where every clue bears the fingerprints of something far more sinister than mere murder. As bodies multiply and evidence leads to shadowy conclusions, Ray faces a choice: follow the rules or trust his instinct. Navigating a labyrinth of secrets, buried realities, and personal demons, he must uncover the truth before more lives are lost. Is Ray prepared for the intricate struggle between power and a mystery linked to a past he never anticipated? Or will he be burnt by the fires of this unfathomable hell? So this is a little introduction to In Radiant Shadows by Raj Sen. We'll begin with Raj reading a little excerpt from his book. Over to you, Raj, if you want to introduce or say a few words and then start.
Sure. I would be reading out a small portion. To be precise, this is chapter 18 of the book. Page number 150 is where I begin. So may I?
Absolutely.
The unassuming toy factory at 4 Oaks Street in Santa Clarita harbored a sinister secret. Behind its innocent facade, a sophisticated drug operation thrived under the guise of wholesome playthings. Gerard Moose, a local tycoon with a penchant for the illicit, was the mastermind behind the scheme. South American narcotics found their way into cleverly crafted toys, which were then sold at outrageous prices to a select clientele. A clientele that was hungry for more than just childhood nostalgia. Ray, Wendy, and the assembled task force approached the factory with stealth that screamed expertise. They neutralized the exterior guards in a swift maneuver before breaching the entrance. Ray's voice thundered through the building. "Freeze! Hands where we can see them." His eyes darted across the room, quickly identifying Aaron Silverman and Gerard Moose from the intel photos burned into his memory. The occupants, caught off guard, complied with no resistance. "We have got a warrant," Ray declared, his tone broking no argument. "This place is getting turned inside out." The ensuing search was methodical and damning. Within minutes, officers uncovered a stash of cocaine and heroin expertly hidden within the factory's innocent-looking products. Ray barked orders to Inspector Darnell. "Call for backup. We are going to need more transport. We have got over 20 perps to process." As the situation stabilized, Ray zeroed in on Aaron Silverman. "Heard a lot about you, Aaron. Time we had a chat." Aaron's response was a tirade of racial slurs, his composure cracking firstly from his ego getting hurt at being caught, and secondly at the implications his arrest could have on him and the others. "I'm not talking shit, you brown-ass pig. I'll be out before you know it, and I'll make sure you're shipped back to whatever hellhole spawned you in pieces." "Did you just threaten a cop with violence?" Ray smirked. Sensing the turning tide of the situation, Gerard Moose attempted to rein his partner. "Aaron, shut it." Ray, however, remained unflappable. With deliberate calm, he approached Wendy and handed her his bomber jacket. "Hold this for me, please." Turning back to Aaron, Ray's voice carried a dangerous edge. "Let's settle this now, Aaron. Man to man. You win, and I'll let you walk. That's a promise. You lose, and well, you'll see." "Ray, what are you?" Wendy's protest died on her lips as Ray hushed and put any potential interference. "No one interferes. I repeat, no one." The other officers unwillingly stood back. These were direct orders from a man far higher than their pay grade. Why doesn't Luna come on these missions? Wendy thought as she cursed under her breath. Ray had done this once before, and now he was about to do it again. Aaron looked around the room. The silence of the other cops, coupled with Ray's eagerness to settle things, tacitly approved of their impending confrontation. Seeing an opportunity for escape, Aaron squared up. He shrugged off his leather jacket, revealing a physique that spoke of hours in the gym and possibly chemical enhancement. His floral shirt, open to mid-chest, did little to hide his sculpted muscles and prominent vascularity. Ray remained unfazed by the display. He knew well that aesthetics didn't equate to combat prowess. The two men faced off, a mere arm's length separating them. Adopting a stance miming trained martial arts posture, Aaron launched a right hook with lightning speed. Ray's defense was impeccable, blocking the punch with his left hand before countering with a swift right jab to Aaron's cheek, sending him a couple of steps back. But before Aaron could recover, Ray executed a textbook front kick, his foot connecting solidly with Aaron's solar plexus. Ray loved that zone of the body. Hitting it was effective and it worked like magic every single time. The impact sent the drug lord crashing to the floor, more shocked than hurt by how laughably easy it was for Ray to have knocked him down. Ray wasted no time. The opponent's reaction signaled he had broken through. In a final display of dominance, Ray closed the distance in a flash and pinned Aaron's right forearm under his foot, applying just enough pressure to elicit a pained groan. Moving in close, he spoke with quiet intensity. Listen up, you racist piece of trash. I could break you right here, but I need you talking, not recuperating. That too on police money, so I'm sparing your bones, merely for now. Thank you.
Wow. That was amazing. So, as we were talking, and you told me this is the passage that you wanted to read, and I was reading it also. So, why this particular scene? Why did you choose to read this to us? Does this communicate something about your book? Something that you want to tell us?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, about the main character, his personality, his how daring, how gutsy he is. That is depicted. Moreover, this book in a way tackles racism, and as we had a conversation about this before personally, that through this book I am kind of deviating from the Hollywood stereotypes, how Hollywood has been depicting Indians as geeky. I mean, there's no harm being geeky, but that's the only thing Indians are capable of, like mathematics and IT, and they're just geeky and they're not fit, they're physically unfit.
As you were saying, that's why this is a character of Bengali origin?
Because I'm a Bengali, because not just the US stereotype, besides just the US stereotype, there's a stereotype within India that Bengalis are softies, Bengalis are not tough guys. So only people from other states are tough guys, and Bengalis are cowards. So I wanted to break. I was like, I'm a Bengali, I'm not a softie, I'm a tough guy. So.
Yeah, no, that's great that this is your first book and you're already breaking stereotypes, talking about the important stuff. So you were saying this book also tackles racism, right? So how is that as a theme explored, like in your book? How would you say?
It's mainly against racism that Indians face. Mm-hmm. That's what I have explored. To be honest, it's not a book on racism specifically. So you won't really find how immigrants and people of so-called non-American ethnicities tackle racism. It's only from the main character's perspective.
Right.
I have faced a little bit of racism because I was in Los Angeles, Burbank to be precise. Very safeguarded city, and people are quite mindful of their conduct because California and New York, they are very cosmopolitan.
Yeah, this is what I was also going to ask you. Like you've lived in LA, right? You've lived in Los Angeles. So what did you face anything like this?
Casual racism, not direct racism, because people are. It's very cosmopolitan and.
They're more politically correct.
They are very politically correct. I mean, even if you use a word like retard, someone might just correct you that don't use that word. That's politically incorrect. Challenged is the politically correct word. So, yeah. So coming back to the point, but I have faced intolerance from slight racist, casual racism, intolerance from why is this outsider coming and excelling in class when we Americans, we are struggling to grasp the material? but that's what happens usually. So yeah, it's just racism explored from the main character's perspective.
From a very Indian perspective.
Very Indian
So
perspective.
this is something that people would relate to.
Yeah.
People who've traveled for work or studies.
Yeah, and this character, he has not just he has been living there since when he was 5 years old,
Okay.
and he has been in the U.S. Military. He has been a Special Forces Green Beret soldier. That those of you who don't know who a Green Beret soldier is, Green Beret is a Special Forces soldier who goes to non-American countries like Afghanistan, Syria, and they they deal with foreign operations. So he's a Green Beret soldier. Then he gives up and he joins the LAPD as a police detective.
So I was going to ask you why LA, but I think we've covered that a little. But if there's anything you'd like to add, so what is LA a fascinating place?
I would say it's a fascinating place, but because I was in LA, I was in Burbank, which is not just the safest area in LA. LA is both a state and a county.
Yeah.
Like Medinipur is both a city and a district. So LA County, Burbank used to be a part of proper main Los Angeles city. Now it's separate, but it's a part of LA County. And it's not just the safest place in LA County, but the safest place is probably entire California, and one of the safest places in America. But downtown LA is really creepy. I've been there a couple of times, and it's really creepy. I mean, yeah. So LA, the dark, the dark setup of LA downtown.
The light and shadows, right?
Yeah, and there are evidently people who look like they're capable of a lot of notoriety. So I think.
Since we spoke of light and shadows, I come to your name, In Radiant Shadows. So if you could tell me what is why this name, and with the emphasis on the why.
Okay,
The
firstly,
story.
I'll tell you about the emphasis on the why. It's pun intended. The main character is Ray.
Ray.
So it's his name has been included. That's why the radiant, the Y. Radiant. Moreover, this in radiant shadows. Okay, shadows are obscure, and this is a very tough situation the main character is facing. Very tough case, and he has to. He feels he can't do it. He has breakdowns. He feels he wants to give up, but there's always a ray of hope that takes him through those shadows. So that's why in radiant shadows.
Nice. That's a nice way of thinking about it. So a couple of more things. I was going through it, and so what would you say? The focal point or the genre of this book is, and from what I understand, it's detective fiction. And why would you choose this genre for your first book? Is there a reason? Is this something that has always resonated with you?
I was always fascinated by detective fiction and action-packed stories since childhood. I wanted to tell my action-packed story and with the detective element incorporated in it since childhood. Simple reasoning. And this is more of an action thriller because the detective part, it's not it's not exactly a Sherlock Holmes or Hercule Poirot or Feluda or Byomkesh kind of detective, because it's more of a howdunit than a whodunit. It's more of a howdunit than a whodunit, and whydunit as well.
Okay. Yeah, also because he's a police detective, so the entire approach is going to be very different from what we've read as detective fiction, right?
Yeah.
And so you're a first-time author, right? So I want to ask, as someone who's been associated with publishing off and on, I've seen how it works. How was the experience of the entire, from the pen to what we're seeing today? This entire process. How was the experience?
It took about 2 years to write
Wow.
it.
Okay.
Research, my father's suggestions, research, because it was a difficult story for me to handle. I couldn't really I didn't have the right consciousness and maturity level to finish it. So I had to take advice from my father, do a lot of research from the internet and here and there, and then finally when I finished it, I was looking out for publishers. Then my friend who's sitting right there, Shamik, and he was also my editor. He helped me with the publisher. He took me to the publisher, and he helped me with the publishing. And yeah, now it was out, and we launched it on the 29th of November.
Yeah.
You were deciding.
Hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think congratulations
You
on your
don't
birthday.
go
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Your first is always special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so a couple more things about your book. A little bit of pointers some pointers from Shagnik and some from me, so to be honest. So one thing I wanted to ask is, so you were saying, right, it's a Bengali, but it's set in Los Angeles and he's in the American army. So, the whole notion of the American dream, is that also a part?
I would say it's not exactly the American dream because the American dream is rags to riches. I mean, yeah, he's not. His parents were, he's from an IT background. His parents were in IT, and what he did is like as a police detective, cracked a very difficult case. I would say this is not the American dream. American dream is more of
Maybe not what we say classically as the American dream. Maybe you could say a very an immigrant dream, maybe a modern take.
yeah. Because American dream would be like Rocky Balboa. From a small town, Philadelphia guy becomes world champion, boxing world champion. That's American dream. This is not exactly the traditional American
But
dream.
it handles the entire.
This could rather be a Indian dream in America.
Yeah, so that's immigrant dream. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it handles the entire. I think it talks about the immigrant community also. Yeah, living there, and which is why the entire question of racism and all of that comes in. And what about the villain, or the antagonist or the villain? How did you go about, creating these characters like Ray and as the protagonist and then the antagonist? Are there, how do I say, are there similarities between the two? Are there differences?
Yeah.
How did you shape that entire thing?
So this guy, the protagonist is Ray, and the main antagonist is Jean Alberto Figueroa. He's of a different ethnicity. He's of Hispanic ethnicity. He's like Ray. He's also a veteran. He's a Navy SEAL. He's an ex-Navy SEAL. Navy SEAL is like the top, like the better than the best get into the Navy SEAL. It's very difficult to get into the Navy SEAL. So he's a real top guy. Moreover, he's huge. He's like 6'4", 6'3" or 6'4". It's like that, and he has bucketed hose for arms. He's like huge arms, massive arms, and he's a big, burly, strong guy. And he works out, and there are descriptions of him working out. He lifts excessively heavy weights, like in terms of kgs, like 40, 50 kilos in each hand, a dumbbell chest press. So imagine how strong he is. Not just brute strength, he's got skills, he's got the Navy SEALs experience, he's a mastermind criminal, a gangster. He runs a huge gang. Like, if he gets if he gets someone killed, by the time you get to to get to him, there are so many people in the middle, you won't even be able to get to him. And like Ray, he's a man of focus, no bad habits, and regularly into working on his physical strength and ambition. So yeah, that way he's a negative counterpart of Ray. But
So it's like a foil, right? The concept of the foil.
yeah, but again, he's much bigger and stronger. I mean, Ray takes down bigger guys because they just have brute strength. They don't have his kind of mindset or his kind of skills. But this guy is brilliant, and he has his skills.
Interesting. I look forward to reading and finding out how Ray takes him on.
I
So-
will start writing this book.
Yeah.
What is the content of that?
It's a sequel to this.
Okay, so the next book is going to be like,
Yeah.
so Ray is there.
Yeah.
We're going to see him in
Yeah.
more.
But it will take some time.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, good things take time. So you wanted to read another passage?
Yeah, I could read chapter 3, like an intro.
Yeah, please.
Chapter 3, 15th February 2022, United States of America. It was a full moon night in Los Angeles, the pale moonlight barely penetrating the shadows of a notorious alley near downtown. The Uber's headlights cut through the gloom, illuminating crumbling brick and graffiti scarred walls. As the car rolled to a stop, the driver's fingers dug into the steering wheel. The digital clock on the dashboard displayed 10:30 p.m. End of the line, buddy, the driver said, eyeing his passenger in the rearview mirror. That alley's got a bad reputation. I have got a family waiting at home, you understand? The man in the back seat nodded, a faint smile playing at the corners of his mouth. No worries, I'll take it from here. Just wait here for me to come back. As he stepped out, he added, 5 stars guaranteed. The Uber reversed to save distance, leaving the newcomer alone in the pool of dim streetlights. Sorry. He cut a striking figure, lean and athletic, 6 feet, early 30s, wrapped in a slim fit black pea coat on top of a grey button-down shirt, dark blue jeans, and a pair of brown suede boots. Dark hair framed the sharp-featured face with alert brown eyes scanning the alley. At the end of the narrow passage, a battered neon sign flickering above a weathered door. The man walked towards it and pushed it open, stepping from the chill night air into a haze of smoke. Conversations died as heads turned towards the newcomer. The bar's patrons were a rough lot, all denim, leather, and hard-worn faces that had seen their share of trouble. More than a few hands drifted towards concealed weapons. From the crowd, a mountain of a man unfolded himself from a creaking bar stool. He towered over 6 feet, his massive frame barely contained by a sleeveless denim jacket stretched over a faded brown t-shirt and dark blue jeans. An unkempt beard obscured most of his face, but there was no mistaking the predatory gleam in his eyes as he approached wearing those typical brown hiking boots. Nice coat, the giant rumbled, a wolfish grin spreading across his face. Think I'll be taking that off your hands. The newcomer's eyebrow arched slightly. Bit small for you, isn't it? Ain't for wearing, the big man chuckled, closing the distance between them. More for selling to someone with expensive taste. The rest of the bar watched with a mix of anticipation and unease. It was clear to everyone present blood was about to be spilled. In one fluid motion, the man in the pea coat reached inside his jacket. When his hand emerged, everything around him appeared to come to a halt. Nestled in his palm was the unmistakable shape of a hand grenade. The color drained from the burly man's face as he stopped where he was, his earlier grin evaporating like mist. The very sight of that object in the stranger's hand brought up a terrified look on the faces of everyone in that bar. Whoa, take it easy there, pal, the giant stammered, hands raised in surrender. No need for fireworks.
Wow. I think that's got everyone intrigued, Raj. Wonderful little piece of introduction. And you know, something I observed while you were reading, you bring it to life when you're reading it. So you were saying that that's also part of what you want to do, right? So if you want to share something to conclude with, talk to anything, any message that you want to leave us with about you, your book, anything.
About me? No, I would like any questions or comments if you have any. I'd like to answer those. Any questions, any comments?
Or anything you would like to say.
Yeah, comments are also welcome.
I have a question. So, name of the book, Radiant Shadows. The first thing that came to my mind, seeing the title, is Satyajit Ray. Okay. So, has it ever crossed your mind while naming the book that this might be a crossover?
Crossover with?
Satyajit Ray.
People might connect it with Satyajit Ray because in Radiant Shadows.
It actually never did, but that's a good point. That's a good point. The Bengali Ray, Satyajit Ray, nostalgia is in there. That's really a good tribute to him.
And so, if you were to, if you were to wrap it up, like about the book, so what would you say, to a reader who's approaching this book? Is there anything that you'd like to say?
I can guarantee one thing: if you're a lover of detective or action, you're going to enjoy this throughout. Roller coaster ride. On a single line, one's gonna get bored. So yeah, I think it's going to be enjoyable, healthy dopamine boost, something, and something.
Adrenaline to it.
Yeah, adrenaline, something to be looking forward to. By the time you read it, no spoilers.
Is it your passion to write detective content in future?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Yeah. That's really nice. And the passages that we heard today, I think they've already got us intrigued. We have some copies of Ingredient Shadows by Raj with us. If you want to take some copies, please feel free. And
If you take the copies now, then I think we can
yeah,
get
Raj
it
can even sign
autographed
it.
by Raj. That would be
And
nice.
it was
Something
lovely. It was
interesting.
lovely connecting, Raj. Thank you to Shagni for bringing us
Connecting
here.
us.
And thank you for editing.
Thank you.
A slap for him for editing the book.
Maybe Shalini can add something? Why not?
No, I was just saying thank you to Urvashi as well for giving us the space, and to Shreya, who's not here right now. But
She is here.
oh, she's there. Sorry, I didn't see you.
Anything you have to say about how was your
And of course,
experience?
the editing wise, the book, it was a pleasure for me. I had a great time editing it and going back and forth with Raj, and of course with Kunal uncle, who was Raj's father. It was a very creative process, and I really enjoyed every moment of it. And there are some beautiful passages that I really loved, which was written by Raj, and I hope people reading it love it, because he's put in his heart and soul into the book, and the book deserves to be loved. So. Yeah.
Great.
And Raj, I think Shreya has a little something from our side for you. Thank you for coming and gracing the occasion.